Welcome to Business Daily right here on Trust Television. I am Yusuf Akogu. Let's take the business top stories. Glad to have you back. Now we go to the stock market to give you highlights of the stock trading as it went down yesterday on the floor of the Nigerian stock market. The market closed negative 0.02% downward there. The volume of 329.7 million, value at 4.41 billion naira in a dose of 5,998 deals the exchange hands among investors on Wednesday. Let's look at the top trading equities. Of course, the multivers there doing 9.74% again to close at 2 naira and 67 kobo. If you go down, Shams also gained 9.71% to close at 1 naira and 75 kobo as well. While Cavitin Helicopter in the aviation subsector of the market gained 9.35% to close at 1 naira and 39 kobo per shares. Let's look at the top losing equities. The top losing equities entrance that is there down 10%, 8 naira 40 kobo per share closed on Wednesday. Suno Assurance also closing negative there, 1 naira and 10 kobo it closed, and of course Deep Cap also closing 7.41% to close at 27 kobo per share. Let's look at the top trading equities by volume. Fidelity Bank topping the chart there for 11.7 million shares. Access Corporation 730.1 million shares there, and of course Shams PLC 501.3 million volume of shares of those companies were traded on Wednesday. Let's look at the rest of Africa and to see how they are doing. In Joburg is down 0.81%. I couldn't retain the positive that we saw yesterday, down there 0.81%. In Ghana, the market closed flat. Not much activities in that part of the West Africa sub-region. In Nairobi, in Kenya, it was negative 1.32%. What is really happening to the Nairobi Stock Exchange? Not so much in terms of investment from portfolio investors there. That's what we're seeing. Let's talk to Charles Fakroga. He's a stockbroker. He joins me via phone from Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon. Yusuf, it's afternoon already.
All right. Let's quickly get your reaction now. How is the market reacting to the Supreme Court judgment that we had earlier today?
Well, it is good to say that the judgment has come and gone. But of course, in the coming days, analysts will continue to talk about it. Yes, if you ask me, looking at the figures from the trading engine directly, I will tell you, well, the market has not closed. We still have about less than 30 minutes for the close of market. The figures I am seeing right now, it shows that the market did not particularly react towards that judgment. Because in the morning, we saw that the market was already down when the market started, 0.01% down. And we have volume of over 37 million. But as I speak to you right now, fine, which is the usual practice as the market progresses trading, you will see the volume will increase. Now, we are doing a volume of almost over 200 million right now, with a volume of over 4 billion naira. So if you compare this to what happened yesterday from your report, you will see that it is still within the range. So I will say, for now, that the Supreme Court judgment or ruling, as the case may be, did not have any impact on the market. The investors did not react. Probably they've already given their mandate, their orders in the morning before the judgment came. So it has no impact based on the figures I am seeing from my machine as I speak to you right now. We have gainers, we have losers as we speak. The market did not react to this Supreme Court ruling.
All right. So apparently investors indeed actually maybe preempted where the judgment was going to swing to. Don't you think so?
Yes, I think I will agree with you, but that is my own opinion that everybody has seen it, that of course even those who are 100 level law school will tell you that you don't bring fresh evidence to Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not a court of evidence. So it was obvious that it was going to go this way. And that is why we are seeing that investors did not even react to what has happened in the courts.
All right. With few minutes to the close of the market, do you envisage any changes from what you have earlier told us?
Yes, as I speak to you now, it is about 10 minutes after 2. We just have less than 20 minutes for the market to close. And the market is still in the negative, slightly about 0.06%. So I don't really see any change. However, we are trained to know that just 1 minute can make a difference.
Absolutely.
But for what I'm seeing now, I don't think there will be any change. The market obviously will close slightly in the negative territory.
All right, Charles Fakroga, stockbroker, talking to us all the way from this trading floor of this Nigerian Stock Exchange, all the way from Lagos. I must thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Abuja people.
All right, with that, we'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk pension administration in Nigeria. Don't go away.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty.
It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira exchange rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
Since central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. The number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Glad to have you back. It's still Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now we go into our discussion. We're looking at pension administration in Nigeria, the prospects and indeed the challenges facing that sector, very, very critical sector, you would say, in Nigeria. And I have joining me in the studio a pension administrator, Mr. Sani Mustapha. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf.
All right, you are a pension administrator. Yes. Give us an overview of what you think our current system of pension of administration. How do you think is impacting in that sector?
Well, compared to 20 years ago, Nigeria has done very well in the pension sector. About 20 years ago, we are owing pension payment to pensioners almost 2 trillion. But today, federal, some state and private sector pensioners have to their credit almost 17 trillion naira. This is done
huge.
by the hard work of the government, the legislative arm, and the regulator, National Pension Commission. Now, this is a very good advancement in solving pensioners' issue, because wherever you are, if you retire, the first thing on your mind is for you to say, where will I get money again? There is money for you. You have your retirement savings account. So at least this is where we are now.
All right, but sometimes for pensioners accessing this money is also not easy. The processes are very, very cumbersome.
Well, the process have been laid out by the regulator to ensure that the real pensioner gets his money. When you are invited, for example, federal pensioners are invited a year before they retire to come and do verification, so that everything will be in place. By the time they now retire, they just access their money. But you see, Nigeria is not yet, I mean, all the infrastructure is not yet 100%. So sometimes one or two things can come and then you may not get your money. But for those under contributory pension, I can assure you that once you key in, then you can go to sleep.
Is it that there is actually data now that identify people? Well, formerly, what we know is it was not technology driven. A lot of people bring in their documents and their paper and all of that.
Yes.
It was difficult. The bureaucracy and all of that made things difficult. Do you think with the coming of technology, how well do you think that will address the pensioners' problem?
Yes, there are 2 pension systems being implemented in Nigeria. The contributory pension and the defined benefit, which is the old one. Now, the old one rely on papers. It's only in PTAD that progress is made to actually archive all these documents, and database use of technology have captured all pensioners. But the contributory pension, from day one, is technology driven. You take your biometric before you are given the retirement savings account, and your NIN is joined also. Your VVN is also joined. So right there, your money is for you, just like a bank account.
Okay, now just like a bank account, but you cannot withdraw it without submitting some relevant documents.
Yes. If, for example, before you reach the age of 50, you lost your job, there is a program where you can now apply for part of your money. Obviously, you have to bring documents to say that you have lost your job. And your own employer too will be reached that so person has said he has lost his job. So can we, you understand? But I think the regulator find out that some of the employers are reluctant to write anything. So after some time, if the regulator writes and they did not reply, they just pay you your money.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get your money if you lose your job.
Okay.
Yes.
But you talked about the issue of biometrics.
Yes.
Sometimes these pensioners were asked, even while in service, to do what they call data capture.
Yes.
To regularize some of their informations that were provided. But at the end, sometimes when they are coming for their pension, they are also asked again to do another data capturing and bring some document.
Yes.
Don't you think that bureaucracy needs to be removed?
Well, the process is being fine-tuned.
Is it an identity problem?
It is not. You see, if we have your database and you are coming after maybe 30 years, it is good to now say, okay, do it so that we compare with the other one. We just don't say, just get your money. We do it to ensure that you are the right person that owns that account. Yes.
All right, interesting there. Another area again is that we've also seen instances where old people, especially retirees, queuing for pension, for verification and so many things. Some of them slum, some even die on the queue. This is a very, very disturbing issue for someone who has served his fatherland for 30 or 35 years to, encounter or face that kind of difficulty or challenges. What do you think should be done to reduce that difficulties that pensioners face in assessing their funds? Most of them find it difficult to even put their document together.
In fact, this is where the PTAD shines, because they took cognizance of all the difficulties of pensioners, and when they go for verification, right now they have finished verification of all the pensioners under the defined benefit. But when they go out for verification, they ensure that the welfare of the pensioners have been taken into consideration. Nobody lined up standing. They are all given chairs under with AC, with food and ambulance in case anybody falls sick or any. So that thing has been, it's an old story in pension. And of course, the regulator, when they are doing their verification, in fact, it is done in hotels and places where pensioners do not suffer.
All right, and then you make some provisions for them that make them comfortable?
Yes, very comfortable.
Okay, now let's look at the issue of advising retirees, even while in service, to make plans ahead of their retirement. Are there any measures in place? Because this issue of burden of old age is becoming an issue. When you're old, you're thinking of how you survive, because you're going out of service, and then there's not reasonable investment for you to fall on. Are there not just a plan or programs where this pension fund can be diverted to, so that by the time they retire, they know, say, okay, this is my next sources of income?
Yes. Well, you see, your question is very wide.
Absolutely.
Yes. It talks about the plight of pensioners now, and also about retirement. The plight of pensioners cannot be separated from plight of Nigerians. Right now, you know, we have a government that is on the ground trying to redirect our economy. Definitely we will suffer for some time, but there will be prosperity at the end of the tunnel, because we are now using fundamentals to run this country. Now, for pensioners,
many Nigerians will still not agree with you.
Yes, I understand, of course, I understand, but that is what I believe. And I believe the period will be quick, where prosperity will soon come, so that people will stop complaining.
All right.
The pensioners, which I believe that the federal government said they are even going to consider them for palliative, the whole sector is taking that people should get their monthly pension. In federal government, private sector, those under PTAD, they are all getting their pension as at when due. But I cannot say that for the states. The states are still running the old scheme. It is not structured. There is no money anywhere set aside for pensioners. So they usually suffer. It is only when governor felt very happy, you say, okay, I take 2 billion, give to pensioners, and they pay for 3 months, 4 months, and the money stopped. So they have to stay under very dire conditions before the next payment.
Is it a question of abuse of rules? Because I recall the current governor of Borno State, when he came in, there was so much backlogs of pension and arrears, and he cleared all of them. I think the similar thing also happened in Kaduna State as well. So why are we having all these backlogs where there are rules that must be adhered to by some of these governors?
You see, I'm not a governor. I just read what I see in the newspapers. The governors, some are even owing salaries. You know, and where a governor is owing salary or reducing the percentage of the salary, I think he's not on the right track. Because people in your state, That is the small that they look for. You understand? So I believe that pensioners in states should all make effort to convince their government to key into this contributory pension scheme so that money will be set aside for them.
All right.
That is my advice.
Or between pension contribution and cooperative societies in workplaces, which will you advise for workers to adopt?
Well,
we understand that pension is compulsory.
Pension is compulsory by law, and cooperative is not.
But some Nigerians are saying, give us our money while we are still young and alive.
Thank you, which is very wrong. You know, why I keep saying that is that pension is monthly payment, and it has to be sustainable. So you have to align with a body that is purposely created to be giving you money for the next 40 years. You can't go to trading where you go to the market every day, you lose. What happened? You understand? Sometimes you gain, sometimes you lose. And the statistics will show you that one-man business tend to fall through very often. So it is better for you to fund your pension account and be getting your monthly pension. That is better for.
That is in states where governors comply with a regular payment of all this pension. Let's look at, you've talked about the coverage. Now let's look at the coverage now. Despite all the interventions by various government agencies, yours inclusive, we've only achieved just 16% coverage. Of pensions in Nigeria. Why are we at that so abysmally low?
Yes, it is between formal and informal sector. Nigeria have almost 80% that are informal. They are in an employment that is not really on the grid. You know, they are not in a company that pays taxes, they are not in a registered company, rather they're in the market. And this is where unions, cooperatives can come in. Because there is what has been inaugurated, this micro pension. This micro pension is for people in the informal sector. And if they can take it, it will work wonders for them. Because definitely one day you must retire from what you are doing. You use your health, you use your strength, and this thing is a normal curve. You start as a young man, you go to the peak of your strength, after some time it starts to wane.
Well, let me put you on a spot there. What would you say about some politicians, in quote, who take multiple pensions?
Well, I think it is morally wrong. The politicians are leaders. They swear to lead the people. They should not be taking too many from the same pot. So I believe if a leader has served as probably governor, I know you are saying these governors that went to the Senate and House of Reps
become ministers.
I think they should forget about the other one until they finish their term. You know, that is the moral thing.
Do you think there should be a law? I'm sure there are laws, but adherence to some of these laws is a challenge.
It's a challenge. You know, we are a developing country. There is a lot of challenges. Anything we want to do, you will see that adherence to it is not much. So, but we are on the right track.
All right. So going forward as we wrap up now. So what advice do you have? There's a new government in place. There's a Supreme Court ruling today which affirmed the President Bola Tinubu as the duly elected President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All the distractions from the court is already over and so many other things. So what do you think now? What do you think government should focus on now as we move on, at least heading for the next 4 years?
Government should implement policies that will upgrade the economy of Nigeria so that the economy of Nigeria, the carrying power will be increased such that the whole spectrum of the society will benefit from this economy.
All right, I must thank you. Sani Mustapha is a pension administrator. I must thank you for your time on Business
Daily today.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, and with that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow for more. I am Yusuf Akubu.